Okay, in 5.5, we will talk about the multiplication. So let's start with some examples. First, we will talk about the multiplication with the monomials. Multiply monomials. Let's check the example. So we have this 6x. 6x only have one term, right? So this is a monomial. And times another monomial, 4x. So we could use the commutative rule to change the order of the multiplication. So we will have 24x squared. We use the multiplicative rule and the associative rule. First, change the order to make it. After that, we can do this together and these two together. Let's check another one. So we will still use the commutative rule first to change the order. After that, we can combine this like term. Because x to the second and x to the 5, they have the same base, right? So we could combine these two terms. Remember the multiplication with the same base. Okay, so for the monomial, the multiplication is very easy. We just use the commutative rule to change the order. Then we can use constant times constant, then the remaining part, put them together. Okay. So the second objective is if we have monomial times polynomial. So let's check the example. So for this kind of question, we only need to use the distributive rule, okay? So this term should apply to the first one, the second term, and the last term. So let's do the first term first. So 7x should times x squared first. Then copy the sign here. It's plus, right? And the 7x should apply to the second term times 2x. And 7x should apply to the last one, 5. After that, we just do the multiplication with monomial, right? And we only use constant times constant, then combine these two. So this will be the answer. Okay, let's check another example. So we will still start with the distributive property. So this negative 3x squared need to apply to each of the term, right? So the first negative x squared times 5x plus negative 3x times 6x. Okay, then plus negative 3x squared times negative 1. After that, we could do the multiplication with monomial. We will get negative 15, negative 3 times 5 first, then x squared times x squared, so we will get x to the 4th. Okay, then we will plus negative 3 times positive 6, we will get negative 16. This time we have x squared times x, so we have x to the 3rd. Okay, the last term we will have negative 3 times negative 1. So we will have 3x squared. After that, we will just do the addition. So negative 15 plus negative 18 plus 3, we will get negative 30. Oh no, sorry. We cannot combine this. This is a big mistake because they are not the like term. They are not the like term, right? So we cannot combine it. We will just rewrite our answer. So this is already the simplest form. Okay, don't make the mistake. We cannot combine because they are not the like term. The degree of the x variable is not the same, so that's the reason we cannot combine. Okay, so next we will talk about polynomial times another polynomial. So let's check the example. Let's see. That means we should use the distributive rule several times. Depends on how many terms do we have. So let's check the first one. The first one, we have 2 terms, which means we should use the distributive rule twice. So let's start with the first term, 3x. So we should apply 3x to the first term for the second polynomial. So we should apply 3x to 2x. And we also should apply 3x times the second term, negative 5. That's the first step, right? 3x times the first term of the second polynomial plus still 3x. We need to times negative 5. So we finish the 3x part, then we move to 2. Okay, for the second term of the first polynomial, we still need to apply it to the 2x and apply to the second term, negative. So plus 2 times 2x, that will be the first term, right? Then plus 2 times negative 5. So after that, we finish all of the part. Next step, we still need to do the multiplication with the monomial. So here, 3 times 2, 6. X times x, we will get x squared. For the second term, we will have 3 times negative 5. We'll get negative 15 and just x, right? The next term, we will have 2 times 2, so 4, and we only have x. And the last one, we only have 2 constants, so 2 times negative 5. We will get negative 10. But after we list this, we realize there are still like term. So we should simplify it. Negative 15 plus 4, we will get negative 11x. So this is how we do the polynomial times polynomial. This time we should use lots of time the distributive rule. Let's check another one. Let's check another one. Okay, so let's start with the first term. This term we have t and plus two terms, right? So we start with the t. T should apply to each term of the second polynomial. So t should apply to 3x, it should apply to 4t, and should apply to 2. Let's see. Start with the first one, t times the first term, 3t squared, plus t, don't forget your t, times the second term will be negative 4t, right? Plus still t, times the last one, 2. But don't stop here. We didn't finish. We still have the second term for the first polynomial. It's 2. So we should continue with 2 times 3t squared. Okay, we still need to continue 2 plus 2 times the second term is a negative 4t. Okay, then the last one, 2 times the last term. After that, we finish all of the distributive rule. Now we're going to use the multiplication with monomial. So 3 times 1, we only have 3. T times t squared, we have t to the third. And the second term, we have 1 times negative 4, so we have negative 4. T times t squared. And 2t here, 6t squared, negative 8t plus 4. After that, we still need to check if we can combine any like term. We start with the left side, 3t to the third. Okay, we cannot find the like term. Then we check the t squared part. We have the like term. So negative 4 plus 6, we will have 2t squared. Then we also have the like term for t. 2t minus 8t, we will have minus 6t. After that, plus 4. So you should simplify your polynomial, okay, by combine the like terms. All right. Sometimes we will find this kind of questions. We have the polynomial, then take the square. You can treat it just like the polynomial times another polynomial. Okay, we know we have the special formula for this kind of question, but if you forget the formula, you could always treat it as the multiplication, right? So here we will just use the distributive rule. The first term will be 2x. We start with the 2x, but we should apply 2x to the first term of the second polynomial is 2x, plus 2x should apply to the second term is negative y. Then we should talk about the second term of the first polynomial, negative y. So plus negative y this time applied to the first term will be times 2x. Again, plus negative y applied to the second term of the second one, we will have another negative y. So after that, we should do the multiplication, 4x squared and negative 2xy, another negative 2xy, and the last one, negative y times negative y, we will have positive y squared. So your answer after your combined like term will be like this one. So that's how can we do the multiplication with two polynomials. Don't forget, you should do lots of times multiplication by using the distributive property. Okay, so the last objective here is do the multiplication vertically. So let's check how to do it. For example, we have this question. So how can we prefer put the polynomial with more term at the first. Okay, we prefer, because this first term we have first polynomial we have two terms, the second one we have three terms, so we prefer to put the three terms multiple polynomial first. Then we should write another one. So when you check here, you realized it's not necessary to line up the like term. We only make sure this time we should make sure the right side is the same line. The right side is in the same line. It's not line up the like term. It's the multiplication, not the addition or subtraction. Okay, so we start with the right side one. So we start with the positive 5. So the first one, we should use 5 times 4. Start with the right side. So we will get positive 20, right? Then we start with the second term from the right. It's negative 3y times positive 5. We will get negative 15y. Then 5 times the last term, y squared. So it will be 5y squared. Now we finish the first one, right? So for the question, it's not necessary to line up the like term. You see here, this column we have 3y and this one is 2y squared. So for the question, it's not necessary. Not always. Just make sure the right side was on the same line. But we will see when we talk about the answer, you should combine. You should line up the like term. So when we finish the plus 5, we will continue with the 2y squared. We still do it from the right to left. So the first one, we're going to have 2y squared times 4. Right? We will have 8y squared. But this 8y squared should right below the 5y squared because we need to line up the like term. Okay? So that's why we cannot write 8y squared under this column or this column, because we can only put it under the y squared column. Okay, we finish this step, then we focus on the second part here. It's 2y squared times negative 3y. So we will get negative 6. We still from right to the left. Okay, so negative 6y times y squared, we'll have y to the third. Okay, then the last one, still 2y squared times the last term, y squared. So we will have 2y to the fourth. After that, we only need to do the addition of the polynomial. So here we do not have anything, we just copy down. But from here we have two rows, right? So we should do the addition of them. So we will have 13y squared, then we copy down the remaining part. So that's how we get the answer. Right? You will realize we already simplify our answer because we already line up the like term. So we have the simplest form of our answer. Okay, let's check another one. So just like I said, we know this first one we have 3 terms, and the second one we have 2 terms. We prefer put the 3 terms first. Which one has the more term at first? Then times x squared plus 5x. So we make sure the right side was in the same line, but it's not necessary to be the like term. See here? This column, this number is 4, and this one below 4 is 5x. They are not a like term. So for the question, there's no such rule. You need to line up the like term. Just make sure the right side is in the same line. Okay, let's start with the right side, from right to the left. So the first term, we're going to use 5x times 4, then times negative 3x, then times 2x squared. So let's start with the first one. So positive 5x times positive 4, we will get plus 20x. Second, 5x times negative 3x, we will get negative 15x times x, we will get x squared. So the last term, we still have positive, we will get positive 10x squared x, so we will have x third. So we finish the first row, right? We finish the first row, okay? Then we move on to the second row. Second row start with x squared. Still do the multiplication from right to the left. So here x squared times 4. We will get 4x squared, but make sure you understand. You should put 4x squared just under the x squared term. So that will be this. 4x squared. Okay, make sure your answer, you should line up your answer. Then second term, x squared times negative 3x. So you will get negative 3x third. So then from right to left, so the last one we will have 2x fourth. So after you finish all of it, you just do the addition. So here you will have negative 11x squared. And here you will have 7x to the third. The last one, 2x fourth. So that's how we do the multiplication by using the vertical format.